fast rise of mixed martial arts.
There may be some blood spilled. There may be some bones broken.
Has seen a once-condemned crusade.
This event is not for the faint of heart.
Evolve into one of the most celebrated sports on the planet.
This sport comes from different grounds where this wasn't even legal at one point. Now it's on the biggest stage on earth.
Today's athletes enter the octagon with collegiate wrestling accolades.
Two-time Division I All-American wrestler and Big 12 champ.
Title bouts from other fighting disciplines.
Five-time world champion kickboxer, jiu-jitsu world champion. She has been in combat since 12 years old.
Even Olympians have crossed over.
Soldier of God!
To compete for.
Oh, man!
And win UFC belts.
Do you believe it?
Champions become global icons.
I want to ask you guys, what time is it?
Revered for their skills.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, 28-0!
That's it!
Respected for their professionalism.
A perfect example of what we would aspire and what we would like a champion to be.
But for all the spectacle and glory that attracts the masses to modern-day MMA,
Here I am, baby. Daddy did it.
there remains that undisputable desire for something raw and real. An old-school, hardcore fight.
Oh! That's it! He's got the choke!
At UFC 244 in New York City, fighters bred not by mere athleticism, but by the hardened city streets, will throw down for the right to be called the baddest in the game.
People forget that that's what we tuned in for. It's for war.
Let's kill and be killed, like I always say.
The best warriors are the ones that are gonna make for the best fights.
This is a dog fight, ladies and gentlemen.
You got two bad motherfuckers going at it.
What a finish for Masvidal!
Fans should expect pure violence.
One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see!
Top 5 welterweight, Jorge Masvidal.
I had to show them that there's consequences sometimes.
Forged in the Miami streets.
There's some bad motherfuckers out there, and you don't want to wake them up.
Will go toe-to-toe with the heralded West Coast warrior from Stockton, California.
There ain't no gangsters in this game anymore. There ain't nobody who done it right but me and him.
Nate Diaz.
But he ain't no West Coast gangster. You know what I'm saying? This is for the baddest in the game.
The co-main event will see one of the best middleweights on earth, Kelvin Gastelum,
Oh, he hurt him!
follow his recent title bout for the ages.
Israel's trying to finish. Kelvin's still fighting. What heart by Kelvin Gastelum?
With an ongoing quest for UFC gold. But a return to contention goes through former welterweight title challenger Darren Till.
Oh! What if I goes down?
Who moves up to 185 pounds with championship dreams of his own.
Darren Till is a stepping stone right now.
You're messing with the future champion, man. You are that roadblock.
I have to get him out of my way for me to be able to get to that title shot.
Let's send his ass back to England.
I hope he's not underestimating me.
Darren Till shocked the world!
And if he is, it's going to be a bad night for him.
Before the Big Apple, post-combat stars aiming to prove their place. First, get ready for UFC 244. Countdown. While the economic center of the Sunshine State is a present-day haven for visiting beachgoers, there are sections of Miami that remain crime-ridden and violent, where UFC welterweight Jorge Masvidal came of age.
Some parts of my life were a lot more humble than others. Some of the neighborhoods too. I had friends that had gotten hospitalized. I'd seen a lot of things, so it was a little different in the street.
A teenage Masvidal would show early promise in South Florida's version of the combat arts. One which was part of the Kimbo Slice viral video series, recorded at the dawn of the YouTube era.
As you know, we always keep this thing on the DL. You know what I'm saying? This is strictly underground access here.
There's a lot of times where I was nervous. You just don't know the elements that get brought into a street fight. Sometimes people had weapons. And at the end of the day, in the street, everything is fair, everything is legal. It's just survive. That's only real rules. Just survive.
Instead of completing high school,
Whatever it takes. It's all my dish. You gotta love it.
My bad.
Masvidal would graduate to the pro fighting circuit, where a student of the streets could thrive.
What a story. Literally fighting on the streets in the Miami street fighting circle.
That's where he got his swagger.
Everything is completely different when I'm in a professional setting.
And no wasted motion, Pat. Masvidal takes advantage of every space given to him.
There's a referee there. There's a doctor there. I'm not worried about that. There's no weapons in there. Nobody's friends jumping in.
And Masvidal unloading.
So when I fight, I'm not worried about nothing.
Masvidal's career saw him become a mainstay in the UFC.
Street fighter becomes mixed martial artist, and a pretty darn good one.
Where he fought anyone.
Oh, he tapped it.
Anytime.
He's lighting him up now.
Anywhere.
This guy was just born a fighter. It's in his blood.
He's been around.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Big combination on the way up. Not just in MMA. In backyards, like running into satellite dishes and stuff, bare knuckle.
Jorge Masvidal!
He's an old school guy who's been fighting that long.
Boom! Slams him to the ground.
But he's got new school skills.
Masvidal looking to finish.
This dude is embracing the bad guy. Love me, hate me, watch me perform.
The landscape ripe with decorated athletes from all areas of the martial arts world. Masvidal is one of the few remaining fighters
Cerrone in a world of trouble here.
whose roots lie in the streets.
There is a new welterweight contender, folks.
I'm a real fighter. Dana White, bring me somebody that can beat me.
The other hails from Stockton, California. A city that has been economically depressed for generations. But even before financial crises brought rampant foreclosures and increased crime rates, the region rarely had much to take pride in, save for their homegrown heroes, Nick Diaz and his younger brother, Nate.
I was in high school, and I remember my brother coming to watch me fight at a park. It was already a dramatic thing from the beginning, because it was like third period, fourth period, fifth period, it's like built up, and then you go to the park, and there's 100 people at the park that you're walking up to watch you fight. So it already got started right there. Got lined in parks in 9th grade. After it was all over, the cops came and broke it all up. Everybody went their different ways. My brother was going to train like he normally did. And he was like, you better come with me to and train with that ass performance you put on earlier at the park. Before I knew it, and they were like, hey, you're fighting.
From that happy-go-lucky and smiling Diaz family, it's Nathan Diaz.
It's 21, 22, 23. I'm fighting 3 to 5 times a year.
He is really learning everything there is to know about MMA. He's not going to get out of that. No, he's not.
I didn't even realize it, but a career was happening.
Outstanding performance by young Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz by submission.
It's our division. We gonna beat your asses, that's what's up.
Diaz just relentless.
Nate Diaz has arrived. Spectacular in every single aspect of the game. 209.
Stocky Cali, baby.
After a decade spent facing top competition in the UFC,
Nate Diaz becomes the first man to stop Jim Miller.
Diaz noticed the game evolving.
This is the beginning of the McGregor era.
In a span of just 2 years, Conor McGregor has gone from relative unknown to superstardom.
Sport blended with entertainment.
This guy is a dead man walking.
And new athletes could achieve superstardom quickly.
He's most certainly the biggest star in MMA by a long shot. What he's been able to do in such a short period of time has been nothing short of magnificent.
There's been waves of these people, but nobody's been fighting top 10 fighters the whole time. I've been in a high level since I started.
this might be the best shape we've ever seen him ever in his UFC career. He's taking it very seriously.
Diaz saw the credit he deserved being misdirected. It was about time to collect.
Conor McGregor, you're taking everything I work for. I'm gonna fight your ass. You know what's the real fight? What's the real money fight is me.
Who would punch his long overdue ticket to the spotlight.
Nathan Diaz come a long way from being Nick's little brother.
In back-to-back billings against Conor McGregor.
Tremendous pressure by Nate Diaz. Diaz is going off.
Completing his journey from the bottom to the very top. For Jorge Masvidal, he too was ready to capitalize on a life's work in the fight game and would recently identify his own way to break through.
I'm the split decision king in the UFC. I have the most split decision losses. And I go, how about if I had won that fight? Where would my career be? Then I said, why the hell am I thinking like a peasant, like so petty? How about if I just ended people, no decision? I have to separate myself from the pack. Only way to do that is to end individuals. So that being said, fools are getting baptized, man, from here on out.
Darren Till fights back on UK shores after coming so close to realising his dream of wearing UFC gold. Jorge Masvidal is here. He said he wanted a top 10 opponent. He gets one.
In his last two outings, Masvidal certainly put the game on notice.
He's out! Jorge Masvidal gets a massive knockout win.
A devastating knockout of former title challenger Darren Till paved the way for a summer showdown with undefeated grappler and confident trash talker Ben Askren.
So we got George, and now he wants to put on this role as though it was his idea to take the fight. It definitely was not. He was trying to do everything he could to avoid it. This guy's weak. There's no way he could ever beat me. He just doesn't get it done when it comes to those fights that will put him over the hump. They need to keep the idiot away from me. He's that dumb, and I don't want any chances that he's gonna do something stupid before the fight. Bye-bye, Georgie! How mad is George gonna get at the face-off? It's gonna be so funny. How do you beat him? Any way I want.
What's happening in Vegas?
Ain't got nothing to say now.
But I don't like this dude, man. I want to break his face, man. I want to break his rib cage.
His muscles aren't very big and his beard's pretty ugly. But besides that, I think it's gonna be total domination.
Askren, the favorite, as you'd expect. Jorge Masvidal, a live underdog according to many tonight. All right, so here's the number 5 ranked welterweight in the world, Ben Askren. He has injected so much energy and flavor into this welterweight division since signing with the UFC.
He's gonna grab you and squeeze your head. He's gonna put that grip strength on you and you're gonna get confused. He's gonna hit you with that funk, that weird wrestling, and you're not gonna know what to do.
Absolutely. Ben is a freak of nature when it comes to the grappling and the wrestling. I'm excited to see how he handles it against somebody who's been in this octagon many times, like Jorge Masvidal.
Undefeated in the streets and making the walk for his 47th professional fight here tonight, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal.
Fighting out of Miami, Florida, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal.
And these guys just flapping gums at each other any chance they get.
Are you ready? Fight!
The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo. One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see!
Oh my goodness.
And he has just turned in the fastest knockout in UFC history.
Yeah, he's still out.
Nice and easy. Hold on.
That was a brutal, brutal knockout.
And everyone in this arena in awe of what they just saw.
Talking wild, man. You know, I had to show him that there's consequences sometimes. There's some bad out there, and you don't want to wake them up.
Congratulations, sir.
You guys are welcome for ending that dude.
Jorge Masvidal, ladies and gentlemen.
UFC 244's main event will feature Latin welterweight Jorge Masvidal, whose Cuban father, Jorge Sr., made his way to Miami, Florida in the early 1970s when he fled from the communist rule of the Cuban government.
Muchas gracias. This is the Cuban way. Cuban coffee and a cigar. A lo cubano.
My father made his way to the United States a very daring, brave way. He got tires from tractors, and they made him into a boat, a raft, and just took off, you know?
At that time, they was taking you to the army, and they was preparing you to send you to Africa to fight. And I don't not fight for no communists, man. I am against everything is against communists. They are no good for nothing. So I decided when I was 15 years old to come to the United States. ¿Quiere probar una masita puerco con mojito?
Pork, my weakness.
His belief was so firm that he was willing to risk his life for it.
Está buenísimo.
I can't imagine how much emotion he really has, because he's not very good at expressing. I could just see it in his eyes. He doesn't like to talk about things like that too, but he sees me and his eyes light up every time, you know.
¿Sí?
He's so proud of me, man. It's crazy how much he loves me.
Se acabó.
Bien.
Jorge Masvidal Sr. has always had reason to be proud of his son. But it was the most recent knockout victory that would send shockwaves across the MMA universe.
Oh! Out cold! One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see!
The American Top Team product is getting more recognition than ever before.
Oh, we've got a bad boy fighter from the streets of Miami with us.
Yes, we are joined by one of the hottest fighters the UFC has ever seen, Jorge Masvidal.
Dear Mr. Jorge Masvidal, I am a huge fan of yours and have been for years. You are one of the greatest fighters on the planet and one of the best ever. Appreciate that, my brother. For a long time, nobody knew who I was, just a very small core group, so I think it's awesome.
And it was the perfect storm, really, to catapult George to another level.
Your entire 5-second fight, it has sort of become the stuff of legend.
He comes out and gets the fastest KO in UFC history in devastating fashion.
Why does he look like he's sleeping on the job? Somebody tell me. Why'd they ever put this guy in there with me, Primo?
It was a pretty amazing moment.
Masvidal just made a statement.
That dude was talking wild, man. I had to show him that there's some bad out there and you don't want to wake him up.
George, by your definition, what is a bad
A couple ways you could describe it, but I would say somebody more than anything true to themselves. I love to do this to people. Freeze them up, you know? That's why I love competing.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
I love to do that. It's my gift to the world. For those seconds that I captivate your mind and you're just speechless, you're welcome.
Am I the only one in the room afraid? I mean, I'm genuinely afraid.
Masvidal's crowning achievement took place while Nate Diaz was on the shelf. Amidst a hiatus that spanned nearly 3 years. But he was always active at the Nick Diaz Academy in Stockton, preparing for an inevitable comeback if he could just find a worthy opponent.
I was trying to get a fight. And I want a big fight. I didn't want no joker fight, you know? A lot of fights I've lost because somebody's held on to me real tight or ran from me and kicked at me and ran and grabbed a hold so that they were just stopping the fight from happening. And I'm sick of these lame-ass guys trying to not fight.
can have a guy that's 50-0, you know, but if he's fighting the clock and not the other person, then nobody's really ever gonna care.
It's all about real warfare. That's what I grew up training in under Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and Nick Diaz's army. We're going for the finish by any means. So I might as well fight guys who are trying to take me out.
Former lightweight champion Anthony Pettis.
It came out of nowhere.
Is one of the most breathtaking finishers in UFC history.
That kid is so talented.
And his continued success got the attention of Diaz.
He's a real fighter. He's been in the game. He's trying to finish people and take them out, and he's got good fights.
Anthony Showtime Pettis! Whoa!
And that's what we got.
It's hard to recall a more anticipated recent MMA return than Diaz getting back on the proven ground tonight.
Nate Diaz is a fighter's fighter. He loves to scrap, and he relishes combat.
He now awaits the man they call Showtime. A man who has a highlight reel that stacks up with any fighter in the game. It's not just flash, as he puts it. It is flash with some serious substance.
Wild stuff that comes out of nowhere, and a full range of techniques. And if you take him down, no picnic on the ground either. It's just got a full range of skill.
Fighting out of Stockton, California!
They have been on each other's radars for nearly a decade. It is the 4-1-4 versus the 209 Nate Diaz, ending his near 3-year layoff here tonight.
You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Let's go!
Diaz with a lot of pressure. Pettis caught him, though, with the right hand there. Oh, there's that high kick.
Pro Diaz crowd trying to get behind their fighter.
This is where Diaz can get up the most. If he can turn it into a dirty boxing match, take the kicks out of the equation.
Work him there! We're in your space, Nathan!
You can also try to exhaust him and slow him down. Diaz has a solid ground game. Pettis gave up his back. He gave up his back. This is huge for Diaz.
Stop!
The first round was great by Diaz. We'll see how he adjusts.
Nate is doing a good job of staying on top of him, smothering him, making it difficult for him to uncork those shots. Pettis looks like he's fading a bit. Oh, big elbow. The Diaz brothers are both known for having sensational cardio. Big knee up the middle, right hand by Nate.
Now an elbow from Pettis.
Oh, man, this is phone booth warfare.
Wow.
Pettis slumps down. He's exhausted.
One day I'm gonna die. Take you out with me.
Stand up, breathe. Come on, let's dig deep.
You can put me in the ground, but the storm will swell, you'll see.
All right, it's on the third final round. Hell, let's go.
Here we are, right back in the phone booth. Diaz loves this style fight right here.
This is his world. This is what he lives for. When he sees you fading, it gives him energy, like right here. The volume. Beautiful left hand by Diaz. Another right hand. A left hand.
Oh,
big back fist.
Oh, he got him. Those knees are heavy.
For Diaz. Oh,
Huge
Diaz.
knees. Huge knees. Pettis is in trouble.
Down. Ready to go, Nate. He's ready to go.
I bring the wind and the rain.
He's getting his back. He's beating him up.
I bring suffering and pain.
Looking for the choke.
I'm gonna tear your houses
Oh.
down.
Went for the arm. Lost it.
High-level battle on the ground right here.
I bring the wind and the rain.
Got it on the chin. Pettis reverses it again. This is crazy.
Suffering and pain.
Oh, he lost
I'm
it.
gonna tear your houses down and wash away this town.
For those who maybe thought the layoff would be a factor for Nate Diaz, it certainly was not. Back and seemingly better than ever tonight.
By unanimous decision, Nate Diaz! That feels good to be back.
Do you think you will be back permanently now? You took a nice long layoff of 3 years off.
The reason I was off is because everybody sucked. There was nobody to fight. But Jorge Masvidal had a good last fight. Good last fight. There ain't no gangsters in this game anymore. There ain't nobody who does it right but me and him. So I know my man's a gangster, but he ain't no West Coast gangster. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness, would that be fun? Oh, please make that happen.
He's been in the game. He's tried to finish people and take them out, and he's got good fights. It's a worthy opponent to me. I want to be involved in real fights. Right. Because I'm a real martial artist, and I want to fight real martial artists. If anybody wants some of it, come get it.
Just let these two go at it. Everybody wants to see it. They're both going to scrap. Neither of them are going to lay down.
Until then, everybody needs to step their game up. You got to recognize who's the best of the best in this game, and it's not who they're saying it is. It's who I'm saying it is.
Motivation is rarely in short supply. For lifelong fighters like top 5 UFC welterweight Jorge Masvidal. But he always welcomes an added push. From one of the first mentors he's ever had, striking coach Paulino Hernandez.
Not only did he mentor me in sports, but in life, he put me in the right path. And I mean, there's not a day he doesn't call me and make sure that I'm on the right path. You know, there's a lot of times where I'll get to a practice and it's the second practice or the third practice of the day. I'm like, I don't got it in me. Paulino will look me right in my soul and tell me, no, we're gonna find it.
Gancho. Doble gancho. Ya yo opera la cara. Doble uppercut.
In all their years together, Masvidal and Hernandez have never prepared for a fight as big as the headliner that awaits them on November 2nd, against an opponent who needs no introduction.
I'm not fighting Joe Blow. I'm not fighting a dude that's doing it for the camera. Nathan Diaz, I know he's coming to fight, man.
Ahora tira y yo te tiro para atrás y tú contestas.
This guy would fight me just as hard if 10 people are watching, or the whole world is watching, or if it's just me and him in a parking lot.
Nice.
Pain and fatigue are not gonna be a question. So when you add those components, we're talking about we gotta fight.
Ay, bótate rápido. Nice. Mira, tira. Rápido, suéltalo. Nice. Super.
You like violence. The circus show comes into town, Madison Square Garden. You wanna see some wild animals? November 2nd. Tune in.
A coach and student relationship is often necessary for guiding fighters from street life to professional prominence. For Nate Diaz, that tutelage came under boxing instructor Richard Perez.
Right hook. Right hook. Left, right, left, is right. Come on. That's it, my man.
Who is constantly helping the next generation evade the trappings of Stockton proper.
Where's that left hand supposed to be? That's it. Keep that left hand up like that. There you go.
I know people come from Stockton and come to my gym to train their kids because they've been bullied, they've been jumped.
No, look it. When you throw, bring it back here. You're doing this. Just leaving this open, leaving this open. You want to do this.
There's a little kid who comes you would not believe. He's real timid, and he beat up a kid because the kid was bullying him because he learned how to box. And that makes me feel good.
When you throw that right uppercut, come back with that left hook. Yeah, then turn, yeah.
That I can have at least one person, nobody's picking on him anymore. Oh, he boxes. You know, that's all. If that's all it takes, I'm happy.
Perez concludes most of his days by welcoming local hero Nate Diaz for an evening session to prepare for his next fight. But some days, Diaz trains on his own accord. Instead of a pad workout with Perez or jiu-jitsu training at the academy, Diaz takes to the dead of night.
It's 11:15 now. I'm sure we'll be here all night. We're just getting started. For the most part, I just get up and get done what I gotta get done. Sometimes it's all through the day. Sometimes it's all through the night.
Have a good one, guys. Let's see it.
put these long hours in, and your mind's just talking to itself over and over and over all day long. And you know what I should do after this fight? F***ing do this, or get the McGregor fight. And I never planned on saying any of those things. But when Joe Rogan's holding you a mic, asking you a question, what happens is just the truth comes out.
Yeah, Conor McGregor, you're taking everything I work for. I'm gonna fight your ass.
So how about, here's the thought.
Pettis is in trouble.
Let's just show everybody who's the baddest in the game. And it's me. I'm saying that right now. I'm gonna defend it against this.
Jorge Masvidal had a good last fight. Good last fight. So I know my man's a gangster, but he ain't no West Coast gangster. You know what I'm saying?
And now everybody sees it. They feel it. They believe it. And then they're making us belts and shit.
This is for the baddest in the game. So I said to my guys, listen, tell me if I'm crazy, but what do you think about us actually having a baddest in the game belt?
Oh! Nate Diaz has never looked better.
And I will physically have that belt when I come back to New York. It'll be ready.
Of all the bad mother efforts that they seen walk through the doors of the UFC.
Masvidal's a guy that just lost the fight, man. He is 100% sure that this is his time.
They deemed this fight the two baddest that they ever seen. So let's get it.
You can fight for phony belts, or you can fight for the best in the game belt.
On November 2nd in New York City,
Big knee up the middle, a right hand by Nate.
two world-class welterweights bred by combat.
That was a brutal, brutal knockout.
Realized the culmination of a life's work.
Nathan Diaz takes care of business.
From the streets to the octagon, and from backyards to the Mecca. When the dust settles at UFC 244, the baddest man will rise.
Training hard, training to go for the kill and get the job done.
I'm coming to end somebody. They know he's not gonna take a step back. What happens, you know? Let's see.